Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. Sadly, we are back to, well maybe not sadly, but we're back to the regular setup. There's no Christmas tree behind me anymore, but it's fine. Christmas is over. We're about halfway into January, so it's time to kind of get that refresh going. So in today's video, I'm going to do this full makeup look using items in my collection that are new to me, newly purchased, or that I just haven't really had a chance to get in and use recently. So mostly new things to me, new purchases, but I'm also going to kind of go through some of my reflections of 2023 and how I felt about some of the goals and intentions I had set up for myself, and then talk about what my plans are for 2024. It's not going to be super structured. I want it to be organic and just conversational, so it might seem a little all over the place, but I just felt like I wanted to get on here and chat and talk about the new year and what that means to me. So if you want to see me use all new products to complete this look, then just keep watching. All right, so as I said in the intro, I have pulled out a lot of things from my collection that are either new purchases to me or things that I had purchased maybe even months ago that I just haven't really gotten around to using consistently because of all the project planning I was doing at the end of the year, especially trying to really use up some things by the end of the year. So this was kind of my way to take a break from the project planning, although I did film my intro last week for 2024, so if you want to see that, that will be linked below. But I just thought it would be a good time to kind of take a break and just go into my collection and use a variety of things that I either hadn't used in a while or that were still pretty new to me. So not all of these are new release products, but they're new to me in my collection. So I hope that makes sense. So the first thing that I did was I already primed my face, I did my skincare routine, and then I did get my hands on the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. They just re-released this in January. So I was able to pick this up. So I already put that on because I wanted it to set into my face for a little bit before we put the base products on. When I bought the Jelly Pop Primer, I also picked up one of the new e.l.f. lip oils. I think these released at the end of 2023. So I got the shade Pink Quartz. But yeah, so I'm just gonna put this on now. It does feel good. I'm new to the lip oil game, so I'm still not 100% clear on what the purpose is. Well, I think I am. I thought it was for this, more like nourishing and moisturizing your bare lips while adding a little bit of color, but then I feel like I see so many people on YouTube and influencers and stuff using it more like a gloss. But I figured I would kind of use it more like a treatment that has a little bit of color in it, so I'll put that on now, and then by the time we're ready to do the rest of the lips, maybe it will have dried down or I need to wipe it off or something. But I'm glad I got my hands on this. It's fun to kind of pick up a few new products for yourself every now and then. And I believe this was $10, and I think the lip oil was like $7 or $8, which I do feel like is a little pricey for the size that you get, but still not bad at the end of the day. So for my base, the foundation I'm going to use is actually a skin tint, and I had picked up the Glossier skin tint during the Sephora sale back in, was that the beginning of December, I think. So I picked this up in the shade, does it even tell me? Oh my gosh, that's not good. I'll never know what shade this is if I need to buy it again. I don't remember. If I can find it back in my Sephora order, I'll list it down below. But I'm just gonna use this as a skin tint, so I'm going to shake. And then I personally, I go through phases of using either a brush or a sponge. I'm in a brush phase right now. So I think what I'm gonna do is just put a couple drops of this on my brush. And I know this is gonna be pretty light coverage, but I feel like that's okay for today. I feel like my skin has kind of cleared up a little bit, knock on wood. Watch me get a huge breakout tomorrow now. So on days like today where I don't feel like I have a ton to conceal, skin tint is a little more comfortable. So some things that I wanted to discuss in today's video I kind of wanted to, as I said in the intro, maybe reflect a little bit on 2023 and then talk about some of my, I don't know, I hate the word resolutions or even goals when we're talking about New Year. So kind of just like plans or intentions. Intention was my word of last year. That's kind of more what I do. I pick a word that I want to kind of describe my actions for the year. So last year I picked intention. So I guess we'll start with the reflection. So last year I picked the word intention because I just felt like, I mean, so many of us do it, especially after, you know, 2020 through 2022, basically, like what was even life during that time. But I feel like it was so easy to get in a rut, to kind of become a little complacent about things. So I picked the word intention last year because I felt like I was constantly telling myself in my mind all these things that I should do. Like, we do it all the time. I should drink more water. I should have a better workout routine. I should go to bed earlier. And it's so easy to say those things, but then there was never any real follow through. So I kind of wanted to challenge myself to stop saying those things, or if I was saying those things to myself, that then I needed to actually do them. So I wanted to do things in my life with more intention. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I feel like I accomplished a lot in getting some better routines and habits established in 2023. So I definitely set up a much more consistent workout routine for myself. I've always been a runner, and so I got super back into running. I do it 3 to 4 times a week now for like I don't do short runs, I do pretty long runs, and that's been really good to kind of have that routine again. And just then on the days when I'm not running, I try to do a little bit of strength and stretching. And so it's just been good to kind of have that consistency back in my life. And so I feel like I really kind of went into that with a lot of intention and then stuck with it. You know, you still have to be flexible because sometimes things come up, life happens, but I do feel like now when there's a day, if I'm just like not feeling it, or you know, it's kind of dreary outside, the last thing you want to do is go exercise, but I feel really bad if I don't keep my routine and skip it when there's no real reason to skip it. Of course, like I said, sometimes things happen. If I have an appointment or have to go to the doctor or something, I will skip, and that's fine. Like, that's a pre-planned thing. But I think it's kind of good to have gotten to that feeling where it feels like it's such a part of me having a productive day that it's just kind of more like a habit and just like the nature of my day, instead of this like tedious thing that I'm forcing myself to do, if that makes sense. I'm just using my 2 concealers that are currently in my everyday makeup tour. That video will be linked down below, and I'm going to film a new one in the next few weeks. Yeah, so that's one of the things I feel like I established in 2023 was a better workout routine. I've always been a reader, and I read a lot during the pandemic. Honestly, that's when I really got back into it. But I feel like this past year I was able to kind of make it more of a routine and habit. And I read a lot of books. If you follow me on Instagram, every month I post like all the books that I read, and I'm very lucky and grateful. I get a lot of advanced review copies of books from a website that I'm registered with. So just kind of getting that really going and getting more books and writing reviews on Goodreads, it just kind of brought a lot of joy back into reading. I've always loved reading. I've never not liked reading, but it's just even more fun when I was getting to read books before they were released and give feedback. So I feel like I really got that going and kind of made that a thing to look forward to every day, like reading some on my lunch break at work or reading before bed. Just getting into all of these fictional stories. It's my favorite genre, and just kind of a way to kind of relax your brain and shut down before you end your day. So really, really enjoyed getting back into that and reaching my number goal on Goodreads and all of that. So it was good to stay consistent with that. I think obviously too, I was fairly consistent in posting on YouTube as well. So that was something that I was still going into 2023 with the intent of keeping up with. I started making YouTube videos kind of towards the end of 2022, just kind of to see how it went, see if I liked it as a hobby, if I had time for it. And so I feel like in 2023, I really stuck with the intention of moving it forward and kind of honing in on what I wanted to talk about. So I was proud of myself for that. And then all of that combined, kind of my overall focus for 2023 was really giving more attention to my personal life and not so much to my work life. I didn't really have a problem before. I think it's really easy to feel that way, that, you know, work is your priority and you should always be overachieving and overworking yourself and looking for the next step up and always wanting to climb the ladder. And I just don't think that that's always like the healthiest way to look at work. I was letting a lot of things at work stress me out that I didn't really have control over. And because of that, it just was becoming like unhealthy to like hyper focus on things that I couldn't control in my work life. And I kind of just needed to take a step back and be like, my job is my job. I like my job. I enjoy my job, but it doesn't need to be the thing that brings me all of the joy in my life. And I think that's something that's really hard for our generation, millennials, to kind of overcome. And I feel like we definitely are. And it's hard for other generations to understand why we're taking that step. So I really wanted to take a step back. Of course, you know, I still do a good job at my job and put in the work and everything. I'm just not overextending myself or feeling the need to say yes to everything all the time. So all of that being said, I feel like I did find a really good balance of work and life and just really focusing more on my personal goals rather than work goals. I think all in all, I had a pretty successful 2023. Of course, there are things that I still want to work on and become more consistent at, but that was kind of my reflection in like the personal realm. I'm just going to use my e.l.f. camo powder to set my face. This is in my project pan. And then speaking in terms of this channel and makeup, I didn't really have any particular goals for it last year other than to post consistently, like I said. And I do feel like I also didn't really like overspend on makeup a ton. I definitely probably bought more than I would normally if I wasn't making videos or seeing things that I wanted to try more. But that's kind of how we can move into talking about 2024. I really want to focus this year on, I'm not saying I will never buy new makeup, but I really want to focus more on using what I have, which I know I was doing that a lot last year with like project panning and, you know, shop my stash videos, but I really want to hone in on that even more. I know times are tough for a lot of people money-wise, inflation is real. I think I've seen recently though that ironically, like the beauty industry is one of the industries that's not struggling. People are still spending a lot of money on makeup and skincare and beauty products, and I don't know if a lot of that is social media or it's a way that we feel like we're taking care of ourselves and treating ourselves. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. I just kind of don't want to be influencing people to buy things that they can't afford or that you don't really need in your life. Of course, it's fun to have things that make you happy. I myself have a much larger makeup collection than a normal person probably needs, and I don't even feel like it's that big at the end of the day, but I just kind of want to focus on using up more of what I have, really kind of understanding more of our consumption habits, making those better choices with spending in regards to beauty and makeup. And then I also want to kind of spend more time doing research on things like skincare ingredients, because I know like there's so much high-end skincare out there and we're made to feel like, you know, you need to buy the Drunk Elephant or the Glow recipe. And really, you know, if I took the time to look at the ingredients and the effects of those ingredients, there might be much more affordable options that do the exact same thing that just don't come in the cute packaging. And I think that's what we all need to embrace more as a society is, you know, with that and with like our groceries. Don't buy name brand stuff all the time. But yeah, so overall, just focusing on using what I have, maybe buying something new here and there, but not going overboard. So speaking of new things, that's what we're using today is things that are new to me. So I did buy, I can't remember if I bought this in the Sephora sale. I think I did buy this. I got one of the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker bronzers. I've been wanting to try these for a really long time. I got the shade Island Ting. So I think this is gonna be a little dark for me right now, but I'm excited to use this. I thought this would be really nice in the summer. And I just felt like a lot of my bronzers in my collection right now were pretty light. So I got a slightly darker shade. But the other bronzer that I picked up recently is the Flower Heatwave Luminous Bronzer in the shade Sunswept. I did show this in a video when I did my holiday glam look, but we're gonna use it again today because I've only used it a handful of times and I did really enjoy it. I think I said in that video too, I don't normally go for like a luminous bronzer, but this one I feel like is a really good balance. It's not like overly shimmery, like there's not like flecks of sparkle in here, which I think is the problem with some of the bronzers that I've used in the past. Yeah, so some of my other kind of intentions for 2024, I think the word that I'm gonna pick for this year is drive. Because last year it was intention, which was kind of my way of getting things going. And now this year I want to stick with it. I want to keep my follow through. And so I feel like a word that really kind of describes that is drive, because that kind of alludes to like energy and moving forward and keep going all in one word. So I think that's gonna be my word for the year. So one of my goals, again, I hate the word goals and resolutions, but one of the things I'm definitely working towards this year, which I haven't shared this with a lot of people in my life, but like I said earlier, I have gotten back into running. I'm running longer distances. And so something that I really want to accomplish this year is participating in a half marathon. So I'm working towards that, and it should take place in a couple months from now. So fingers crossed that I am able to complete that in a timely manner and not like completely break down during it because of how difficult that is. I mean, it's 13.1 miles. That's a long time of running. So, but that's something that I'm looking forward to achieving, and something that I just think will make me feel really good about myself and how far I've come. I started training for that in August of 2023. So yeah, definitely taking it slow and working my way up to that, but something that I'm really looking forward to accomplishing. So I've recently brought two new blushes into my collection. One is the Bare Minerals Bronzer in Kiss of Pink. I think I also used this in my holiday glam Get Ready With Me. Really pretty, really like this. I'm really interested to also get the Kiss of Copper shade, but again, holding back, don't need it, have a lot of blushes. I also had picked up another of one of the Essence The Blush because I love my one in Believing so much. So I picked up this one in Befitting. It's definitely kind of a lighter mauve tone, but I just thought, like, I love that other one so much. It's perfect for everyday use. And I feel like this one could be too. And it's a slightly lighter color, but I think I'm gonna try to use both of these today. So I'll put this one on first and then layer the Kiss of Pink on top. Another intention that I want to keep for this year, and that I think using the word drive will help me with, is I want to really focus more on my health and wellness. And that just doesn't pertain to exercise. That's in all realms of life. Mental health, emotional health, physical health, nutrition. So it's really hard. I'm a snacker. I have a sweet tooth. I have never been the best eater when it comes to making healthy choices. I've always, you know, I was lucky in my 20s with a fast metabolism, and now I'm just ready to make a change, and it's really hard to kind of give up some of those things. But that's the other thing. I'm not gonna just like cold turkey, you know, never have desserts again, that kind of thing. I just want to focus on making better food choices for things like my lunches and dinners. Luckily, my husband is kind of the driving force behind that. So he is kind of taking the lead on planning a lot of our dinner meals and, you know, cutting out the carbs from those. We're kind of trying to do like the Atkins Whole30 thing a couple days a week for our dinners, and then my lunches, I'm just trying to cut back on some of the prepackaged and like processed things that I'm putting in my lunches, and just kind of focus more on making sure I have like a protein and some sort of fruit or vegetable, drinking a lot more water, that kind of thing. And then at night, kind of cutting out always having a dessert after dinner, instead of just maybe trying to have like a cup of tea or some fruit or something, which again, it's so easy to say out loud. It is so hard to do. It is so hard. We are only 2 weeks in to 2024 and it has already like been a struggle. All right, so that's with the blush. So now we're gonna layer the Kiss of Pink. But I think it's something that we just both really need to do. It almost feels like, I don't wanna say like now or never, but it feels like that sometimes. You know, I'm almost in my mid-30s, so it kind of feels like if I'm gonna make some sort of lifestyle change and be able to make it have an impact on the rest of my life, it feels like now's the time to really hone in and do that. And so with that plan, I still want to make sure I have a balance of being social and doing social things, and not just becoming like a straight up homebody, because part of that also comes with trying to save money. Like I said before, inflation is real, we're all experiencing it. And so one of the ways that we have cut back on our spending in our household is not going out to eat as much, cutting out happy hours and things like that. But I don't want to do that at the expense of like friendships and relationships. So I will still go, obviously, to a happy hour or out to a meal with friends and stuff, but we're just kind of taking a step back in our life and focusing on making more food at home. And you know, when I'm bored, that doesn't mean I need to go shop at Target or walk around the mall and inevitably buy something. So just trying to find different things to replace those spending habits with, which again, sounds really easy to say out loud. When it's something you've done for a long time, it's always hard to make a change. But I think making small incremental changes is the way to achieve success. All right, so that's with the bronzer and the blush. I actually think it looks really nice. And that with the skin tint, I think I kind of have a little bit of a glow. Nothing crazy, but I like that. So now let's move on to the eyes. So for the eyes, I'm gonna use this new to me Naked Wild West mini palette. This was on like super sale at Ulta. I'm trying to think when, like October or November. And so I think I got this for like $10 or $11, which I just thought was a steal. I love Urban Decay shadows. And I actually don't have, well, I have the Urban Decay Naked Basics, but beyond that, I have gotten rid of all of my other Naked palettes throughout the years. So I knew I liked the formula. So honestly, I'm probably gonna be pretty boring today and stick with the neutral colors and not use the green. But I would love to hear in the comments what some of your plans are for the year, any goals, anything that you're trying to achieve, or any ways that you have found to be successful in, you know, saving money or, you know, still allowing yourself to go out and do things, but in a more affordable way. I know one thing for me that really helped us the past few years is, luckily where we live, there is a fitness room. It's very small and doesn't have a ton of equipment, but there is that. And so because of that, like I haven't really paid for a gym membership in a long time. The only thing I pay for, I do pay for the Peloton digital app, but it's cheaper than a gym membership. And then I have access to all of those workout classes virtually. And then most of the time I exercise outside. And so it's just kind of taking advantage of things around you that can really help you save money, but also still have the experience. I still get to experience working out and lifting weights. I also have weights at home that we have here. We don't have anything crazy, but you know, for lightweight workouts, we do have those in our home. So we use those, but you know, if we want to use a treadmill or an elliptical, we can just go to the fitness room at our complex. Or myself, I prefer to run or walk outside. So does my husband. So we just kind of take advantage of that as much as we can. And it is just kind of a cost saving way to not pay for a gym membership. Okay. This is not the most exciting eye look, but I will say so far, those shadows, they went on pigmented and blended super easy, typical of an Urban Decay shadow. Very happy about that. But yeah, so just focusing on healthier habits, using up what we have, you know, saving money, but still allowing ourselves to have experiences here and there, and just kind of continuing to work on things in my personal life. Okay, so I just did my brows off camera because I hate doing my brows. I just used my ABH brow powder, which is in my Project Pan, and then my e.l.f. Brow gel. So now let's finish up the eyes and then we can do lips. But I also want to talk about what are some like tools and techniques that I have used in the past that have helped me be successful in achieving some of these goals. I'm going to use this Hard Candy Shadow Stick in Cold Brew under my eye. So it really just depends on personality and your personal preferences, but I personally enjoy a list. So I like checking things off lists. I like seeing that I've accomplished things on a list. So that really helps me. So I just have a little day planner that I buy every year from Target. I think it's by the brand Everygirl, the Everygirl, which I love that website and Instagram account, by the way. So I get that every year and it's helpful. It breaks it down by day. And then on every day, I only use it for personal stuff. I don't use it for work. So I write down all the personal things that I want to do that week. So I list out my workout schedule. All my personal appointments are in there. I also list, like, every day I give myself at least one small task to do on top of my regular routine. So like recently, every day when I've come home, I'm like, put away one Christmas item. Just stuff like that. Or, you know, today I want to do laundry. This weekend, I want to make sure I clean the bathroom. So I will list those things on the day. So it's not overwhelming. I'm not making a huge weekly list and then feeling like I need to do it all at once, or that I've got this big list staring me in the face. I just list it by day, if that makes sense. And that has really helped me accomplish things kind of in a more timely manner because I'm just doing one small thing a day. Okay, I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Air Volume Mascara. This is not my favorite, but it's my newest mascara to me. So I wanna keep testing it out, and I did use up my other two mascaras that are in my everyday makeup drawer, spoiler alert. We're gonna try this. It's just a little wetter than I normally like. But another thing that I think really helps in achieving success in some of your goals is having some form of accountability outside of yourself. So for me, like I said earlier, I am lucky in that, especially this year, my husband is also on board and kind of leading the way on the healthier eating choices and nutrition. So that really helps, you know, even if I want to have a day where I'm like, oh, this is too hard, I don't want to do it, I just want to like eat some chips or whatever. Like, it's not like he's there to make me feel bad, but he's like, you know, we made it 3 days already being good. Let's just make it one more. And then this weekend we can like not feel bad about having a treat. And so it's good to have somebody to kind of support you, and you do that for them as well. And kind of just remind you of why you're doing it. And it's also just always easier to do something with someone else. It's more fun to do anything with someone else, a project, whatever, just to, you know, not be on your own. Then you have someone to bounce ideas off of, talk about your progress, all of that. So yeah, I'm never super impressed with this mascara, but since it's open, I'm gonna try and use it for as long as I can stand it. My lips, I do have quite a few new lip products. I am just gonna line my lips with my tried and true Urban Decay 24/7 Pencil in Naked 2. But I did recently purchase 2 Lawless lipsticks. I found these at TJ Maxx for like $6. And again, you do have to be cautious when shopping for makeup at TJ Maxx and just make sure the packaging is still totally sealed and that they haven't been swatched. So these were totally fine. I got the shades Fawn and Wedding Day. They're both pretty neutral. Let's do a swatch. Yeah, that's my other thing. I definitely get sucked into the makeup section whenever I go to TJ Maxx. So gotta cool it on that as well. So Fawn and Wedding Day. So both very neutral. This is definitely the more peachy nude and then the more pink nude. So I think we're going to go with, I'm gonna go with Wedding Day because the other new lip product I have, I got another of the Tarte Juicy Lips click pen things, and I got it in the shade Primrose. I have White Peach already, which I love. It was just getting a little too light for this time of year. But then I got Primrose, so I think that'll go really well on top of Wedding Day. So let me line my lips and then I'll be back to do lip color. Okay, so I lined my lips, and also I forgot, since I did put this oil on, I didn't wipe any of it off. I can still kind of feel it on my lips, but if anything, maybe it was just a good like prep step before putting on my lipstick. I think it'll help make it go on smoother. Let's do Wedding Day. Yeah, that's pretty. So good, everyday easy look. And then we will just top it with the Primrose. Yeah, I think that's pretty. So back to the accountability. Also, my sister, shout out to her. We sometimes do like challenges on our Apple Watches and stuff. And so like that also helps. And we're really close. So we talk a lot about like our financial goals and our health goals. And so it's kind of a way to also, you know, help keep each other accountable or just check in and just be like, hey, how's your workout going this week or something, and it just kind of, it's another way to just help you stay on track. I think, like I said before, the other main way to really help guarantee success is you have to start small and make small changes. It's so, like, the new year especially, everyone wants to be drastic and be like, I'm making all these giant changes in my life and it's all gonna go well, and you're just, it's so hard, and you're just, I don't want to use the word fail, but it's gonna immediately become almost impossible to achieve those. I think there's something like most people quit their New Year's resolutions within the first like 2 or 3 weeks of the year. And I think a lot of times it's because they make such big sweeping resolutions and changes. Whereas if you just start small and do one little change at a time, like don't do like a all or nothing. Like for me with the nutrition, I'm not like, oh, I can never eat chips again. I can never eat ice cream again, because you're gonna fall off the wagon at some point. It's just not realistic or sustainable for yourself. Maybe it is, but for me it's not. So kind of cutting back and just being like, I can have desserts this many days of the week is kind of a more achievable thing. So I hope that makes sense. I did just put a little bit of this highlighter on from Revolution. This is the highlighter Reloaded. I had bought this many months ago and I really just haven't dipped into it because it's definitely more of that pink copper shade. But I actually think that goes pretty well with the blush. So I feel like I need to blend a little bit though. But yeah, so I feel like some of this video was a little all over the place. I hope it made sense and was helpful. Again, I would love to hear in the comments below what some of your goals and intentions are for the year, what you achieved last year, and if there was anything that you felt helped make that successful. So thank you so much for watching and following along while I kind of just used random new-ish things in my collection. I think it's a really fun thing to do at the beginning of the new year. You also are giving yourself a break, especially if you're project planning or have kind of been using the same things for a long time. It's good to kind of get that refresh and remember all the other things that you have. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.